Multiplication and division by negative numbers. So far, all the inequality operations work the same as equations operations, but when a negative number is multiplied or divided, when solving inequality changes, there is a difference. The direction of the inequality changes if the number used to multiply or divide is negative. When there is an inequality that contains a does not equal sign, it does not change, regardless of the operations required to solve. A number is located on the number line a distance from the origin in either the positive or negative direction, to the right or to the left. Therefore, plus 3 is located 3 steps to the right. Multiplying by a negative number reverses the direction. So plus 3 multiplied by negative 1 becomes negative 3, which is located 3 steps to the left. Observe how the ray changes direction due to multiplying by negative 1. The graph of the inequality x is greater than 3 is shown here. It represents all the numbers that are greater than positive 3. Multiplying both sides by negative 1 flips the direction. Instead of beginning 3 steps to the right, it begins 3 steps to the left at negative 3. So instead of the ray extending to the right, it extends to the left. This graph represents the inequality x is less than negative 3. All the numbers that are less than negative 3. As can be seen from the preceding graphical analysis, when multiplying both sides of an inequality by a negative number, the direction of the inequality sign flips. That's because a larger magnitude positive number is larger than a smaller magnitude positive number. But if you change both signs, a larger magnitude negative number is less than a smaller magnitude negative number. For instance, 6 is greater than 3, but negative 6 is less than negative 3. And this follows from the fact that the absolute value of 6 is greater than the absolute value of 3. This is also true when dividing by a negative number, since dividing by a negative number is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. Dividing by negative 5 is the same as multiplying by negative 1/5. So we should extend our rule to say, when multiplying or dividing both sides of an inequality by a negative number, the direction of the inequality sign flips. The process to solve and graph an inequality, for example, negative 3y is greater than or equal to 15, is now demonstrated. Since y is multiplied by negative 3, and multiplication is the inverse of division, divide both sides by negative 3 to undo the multiplication. Because you're dividing by a negative number, we're going to flip the direction of the inequality. So instead of y is greater than or equal to negative 5, it becomes y is less than or equal to negative 5. Then we use the same methodology shown in the previous topic to graph the inequality. The process to solve and graph an inequality, for example, negative y over 3 is less than or equal to negative 2, is now demonstrated. Since y is negative and divided by 3, and multiplication is the inverse of division, multiply both sides by negative 3 to undo the division, and to undo the negative sign. Because you're multiplying by a negative number, the direction of the inequality is reversed. So we're multiplying both sides by negative 3 and flipping the inequality sign. The answer is y is greater than or equal to 6. Then we use the same methodology shown in the previous topic to graph the inequality. Solve and graph the inequality negative 4y is not equal to 8 for y and graph it on a number line. Since y is multiplied by negative 4, divide both sides by negative 4. The inequality symbol doesn't have to be reversed, as multiplying or dividing by a negative number does not change the not equal to sign. The answer is y is not equal to negative 2, which the solution set is all numbers except for negative 2. Solve and graph the inequality negative 12z is less than or equal to 24 for z and graph it on a number line. Since z is multiplied by negative 12, divide both sides by negative 12 and don't forget to reverse the direction of the inequality. The answer becomes y is greater than or equal to negative 2. So we draw a closed circle on negative 2 with a ray to the right pointing towards positive infinity. Solve and graph the inequality negative r over 4 is greater than negative 2 for r and graph it on a number line. Since the side of the inequality with r over 4 is negative, multiply both sides by -4, which will then reverse the inequality symbol. So when we do that, we get r is less than 8. So we have an open circle on 8 with a ray pointing to the left towards -infinity. Solve and graph the inequality -24x is less than 48 for x and graph it on a number line. Since x is multiplied by -24, divide both sides by 24 and reverse the inequality symbol. The answer is x is greater than 2, so we have an open circle on 2 with a ray pointing to the right towards +infinity. An inequality symbol stays the same direction when you add, subtract, multiply, or divide by the same positive number on both sides, or if you add or subtract the same negative number on both sides. An inequality symbol changes direction when you multiply or divide by the same negative number on both sides. The not equal to symbol never changes, regardless of the operations required to solve the inequality.